Hey Robert, how's it going, man? I'm here basically recording some video feedback for people because I'm terrible at typing. That's pretty much the reason why I'm doing this. I'm just seeing if it works better for me or and for you guys to actually leave kind of like comments and video. I'm not sure if it'll be better or if it'll take up more time, but at least it will be interesting to have a look. I'm curious to see if it works or not. Had a look at your assignment last week. Really nice. I love the arm wrestling thing. It's really kind of like a great idea. Just was a bit difficult to read the final push of the arm, especially because it's not moving anywhere. I think that that kind of like makes it just a bit more difficult to get the idea that, it's gonna throw him off all of a sudden. Because I really think that there isn't, there's a little bit of anticipation there, but just from the camera angle, it's just so difficult to actually see, but it's a tough one, there's not really much else that I could suggest you do because, it's partly a funny angle and then it's a rigid arm as well. But having a look through here, kind of like frame by frame, just love that build up and, the way that the feet go sliding. Yeah. It's just a thing of round frame 63 where the foot actually turns on the floor. Not entirely too sure about that in the sense of I might be wrong completely, but I would expect that, if you were pushing on something, you'd probably want to try and grip with your toes instead of your heels, if that makes sense. Because currently, he's rotating the foot around from frame 61 to, yeah, 70, and he's kind of like, he's rotating from the heel and then he grips from the toes. Might work, just looks a bit strange. Try it out. I'm not even sure if it'll work or not. It might not. But that's something that just jumped out at me. And then very nice kind of like pull, when he comes down. And I love it when he kind of like clambers up the little post and gets ready to heave. That heaves really, really, really nice. Yeah, I like the way that, you break the hand down. I think that in there's a frame here on frame 146. I think you could just have a little bit of a more to an angle to to the neck, just by a tiny bit. It's currently really straight, just a little bit further back to the side, and then just let it overlap like that. And also the head is one thing that when he relaxes, he's pulled back so far. I'd have him when he recovers to actually roll the head forward a little bit more than just putting it straight on. Just let it basically follow through and just basically relax for a sec. And that's my phone there. I'll pick that up later on. And then when we've got the arm there, I just wish there was something I could tell you to do with that arm. It'll jump to voicemail in about 2 or 3 more beeps, I hope. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. Modern technology. You've got here the hand goes back and then it rolls back. I wish there was just a clearer way of actually seeing it. Maybe Jay's told you something that would be more interesting there. And then when he gets thrown off, yeah, I think that, yeah, the poses are just great. You might want to drag the hands back a little bit more in frame 178. So in 178, you might want to just lift the hands up a little bit further so that they're pointing a bit clearer towards the arm from the arm wrestle. Just by a fraction, you're pretty much on there, but kind of like almost leave it very clear that that's the direction in which things are going. And when he crashes down, very nice as well. Nice reaction, nice little bounce there. Fantastic stuff. Really, really, really cool. And for next week, we have Pinata time. It's always fun. I'm really curious to see how this is going to look out. I love the way that, you kind of like do all the swings and everything else. I think it's one of the things that in your reference, you've got a lot of the swings. It's fantastic because there's loads of, fluid kind of like motions and everything else. But everything in the reference is very kind of like the speed of each one of the strokes is pretty much the same. So it's like you do go through about four or five different, hits, and each one of them is kind of like it's roughly at the same speed. It's up and down. You make little pauses, and then up and down. And you might want to basically try and find maybe a rhythm there or something, where it's kind of like you build up to something. So it might be like big swing, slightly smaller swing, pause, and then another big crack. But I think timing wise, you should have a look to see what you can get away with that. I think also, I'm not sure from your drawings or your reference if you're actually going to hit the pinata at the end and it's going to fly off screen, or if it's just going to fall past you. I'm not too clear on that from the actual reference itself, but I presume that in the blocking that'll be just a bit more clear as well. I think that, hitting the pinata and having it, fly out or break would be even better, but breaking is kind of like it gets all technical and then everything's kind of like a bit more complicated. I definitely say, have a look around, especially at making those strokes, those hits very, very, very kind of like clear with what it is that you want to do, and build it up to the point where it kind of like flows out. Looking at it right now, one of the things that I think that you might want to take advantage of is maybe try to think of something in depth, and maybe you could have, the last hit actually throw the actual pinata slightly towards camera, so instead of basically just flying off the side of the screen, it flies slightly towards and out of screen, and that way you get a bit more depth in your composition a little bit. It's the same, the important thing is to really throw the pinata out of the screen, but just if you can use a little bit of depth, so that it comes slightly towards the camera, I think that'll make it just a little bit more sweeter, because if not, it's the typical thing, that your compositions always look kind of like that they work on a horizontal plane. And really, I think that it's one of the nice things about 3D that you can push things slightly towards camera more than you'd expect. Don't go too over the top with that either, but see if you like it anyway. But man, it's been great. Nice solid work all the time, dude. So it's like, I'm really looking forward to see what you come up with this week. And if you do a peer review at some point, well, yeah, I'll just, post you back a message or everything else like that. I'm trying to be a bit more on the ball this week. But fantastic, man. Nice to see your work. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.